The screen is black. A faint sound of wind whistles through the silence. Slowly, an echoing voice cuts through the darkness. Time does not heal all wounds. Sometimes it breaks them open again. A quick flash, mist rolling over the Scottish Highlands. Another flash, the sound of a sword clashing. Then silence again. The camera pushes through the fog, revealing a lone rider racing across the moors, his figure blurred, but his determination clear. A heartbeat sound grows louder with each cut. The audience is drawn in, waiting, wondering, desperate to know where the music rises with slow, haunting strings. The narrator's voice returns, deep and steady. War is coming, old enemies rise, and the cost of peace grows heavier with each passing day. Visuals flash across the screen. Soldiers marching in the distance, smoke curling from villages set aflame, and banners of rival clans fluttering in the storm. The ground shakes under the hooves of galloping horses, a reminder that violence is never far away. The camera shifts to the faces of the people caught in the middle. A mother clutches her child as flames consume the thatched roofs behind her. A farmer grips a worn blade, his eyes showing both fear and courage. The Highland Hills, once beautiful and calm, now stand as silent witnesses to bloodshed. The world that Claire and Jamie once fought so hard to protect is falling into chaos again. And this time, the cost might be unbearable. The voiceover grows sharper. The Frasers are bound by love, but torn apart by history. In a land where loyalty is tested and trust is shattered, every choice can lead to ruin. The camera lingers on an abandoned battlefield, swords stuck into the soil, the mist wrapping around them like ghosts of the fallen. Then a sudden jolt. Thunder cracks, lightning illuminates the ruins of a castle, and the screen cuts to black. The heartbeat sound returns, louder now, faster. A single line breaks the silence. And yet, destiny waits. The screen fades to a blurred image of Claire, her face lit by a soft flame, eyes heavy with worry. She whispers something, but the words are lost in the wind. Her image fades, leaving only the echo of her presence. The audience knows the storm has only just begun. The screen flickers into focus. A dim candle burns in the middle of a wooden table, its flame trembling in the cold air. The sound of distant gunfire echoes in the background, faint but steady, a reminder that war never truly rests. Claire sits alone in a shadowed room, her hands trembling as she stitches a wound on a young soldier's arm. Blood stains her sleeves, but her eyes never waver. She works with calm precision, yet beneath her steady movements hides a heart that is heavy and tired. The narrator's voice returns, softer now, almost like a whisper. She is a healer in a world breaking apart. But who heals her? The music slows to a single violin note, drawn out, aching. Claire wipes her hands and stares into the candlelight, her mind drifting far beyond the room. Quick flashes strike across the screen. Her memories of Jamie, his smile, his voice, the warmth of his hand in hers. Then just as quickly the vision fades, leaving her alone once more. She steps outside into the night. The air is sharp. The village around her is quiet, almost too quiet. Burned houses stand like skeletons against the moonlight. The silence feels heavy, like the land itself is holding its breath. Claire's eyes wander toward the forest beyond the hills, as though some unseen pull is guiding her. A faint voice carries in the wind, not clear, not strong, but enough to make her pause. She looks around, her face filled with both hope and fear, unsure if she is losing herself or being called to something greater. The voiceover sharpens, echoing with weight. She carries the burden of time itself, knowledge of what was and what is yet to come. But fate is cruel, and destiny is never free. The screen shows her tending to the sick by day and battling her own loneliness by night. We see her collapse in exhaustion, tears staining her face, but then rising again because she knows others depend on her strength. The shot lingers on her expression, fragile but unbroken. A woman bound by love, haunted by loss, and yet unwilling to surrender. The violin fades into silence. Then a whisper breaks the stillness. Her own voice. "Jamie, where are you?" The screen cuts to black. leaving the audience aching for the answer. Knowing her struggle is only the beginning of a greater storm, and the story is far from over, ere this journey leads. The screen bursts alive with the sound of galloping hooves. A lone rider charges through the fog, his cloak whipping like wings behind him. The camera tilts upward, revealing the face of Henry, young, determined, his eyes burning with a mix of fear and hope. He is not just traveling, he is searching, chasing a name whispered in the dark. Claire. The music builds with the steady beat of drums, like the pounding of his horse's hooves against the earth. The narrator's voice enters, deep and filled with weight. Some journeys are not chosen. They are written long before we take the first step. Images flash across the screen. Henry crossing a rushing river, water pulling at his horse. Henry climbing a rocky path beneath storm clouds. Henry standing before the ruins of a burned-out village, staring into the ash as if searching for clues. Each frame shows the cost of his path, but also the fire in his heart that refuses to die. The screen shifts to moments of silence. Henry crouches near a campfire, the flames flickering across his face. His hand grips a torn piece of parchment, Claire's name scratched upon it. His lips move as if repeating it to himself, holding onto it like a lifeline. The silence is broken by a distant howl, the shadows of wolves circling just beyond the firelight. He stands, blade in hand, eyes unblinking. The music grows tense, a single note trembling as the danger presses in. But Henry does not run. He fights. He survives. The voiceover deepens. He is bound not by blood, but by destiny. A path carved through danger, betrayal, and loss. A path that will lead him to her. The screen floods with motion again. Henry pulling a wounded traveler to safety. Henry standing at the gates of a castle with soldiers closing in. Henry caught between trust and treachery. Yet in every image, his purpose is clear. He will not stop until he finds her. The drums rise fast and fierce until the screen suddenly cuts to silence. A single image remains. Henry standing on a cliff, the wind tearing through his cloak, his eyes fixed on the horizon. The faint sound of a woman's voice drifts through the air. Claire's voice, soft, fragile, calling his name. Henry closes his eyes. For the first time, his face softens. The camera lingers on him as the voiceover whispers, and in that voice, he finds hope. The screen fades to black, leaving only the sound of his steady breathing, before a single heartbeat echoes into silence. The screen opens with silence, a forest cloaked in morning mist, the sound of dripping water from the trees. A single figure steps into the frame. Henry, worn from travel, his face marked by dirt and sleepless nights. His breath is heavy, his eyes restless. He moves slowly, as if the weight of the world drags behind him. Then a sound pierces the silence. A faint cry, soft, broken, almost unreal. The camera pushes forward through the fog, following Henry as he turns toward the sound. He runs, his steps frantic, crashing through branches. The music rises with sharp strings, every note faster than the last, until he bursts into a clearing. There, beneath a fallen tree, tending to a wounded stranger, is Claire. Her hair is tangled, her face pale, her hands trembling as she tries to stop the bleeding. She looks up, her eyes meeting his. Time freezes. The voiceover whispers, "When hope was lost, he found her." The music swells, but instead of triumph, it carries sorrow. Their reunion is not filled with joy, but with fear. Claire's expression is not relief, but shock, as if destiny has forced them together at a dangerous cost. Henry kneels beside her, his voice shaking. "I've been searching for you." But before she can answer, the sound of distant horns cuts through the clearing. Enemies are closing in. Quick flashes tear across the screen. Soldiers storming through the forest, torches burning in the night, steel drawn from its sheath. Henry rises, sword in hand, his body shielding Claire. The narrator's voice hardens. Reunion brings no peace. For every light, a shadow follows. The music breaks into a pounding rhythm as chaos explodes. Henry fighting off attackers, Claire dragging the wounded man through the mud, arrows flying, flames consuming the forest. Between the flashes of battle, the camera lingers on their faces. Henry's eyes burning with determination, Claire's filled with fear and love. The struggle is not only against their enemies, but against time itself. Suddenly, silence. A close-up of Claire, tears shining in her eyes. Henry, bloodied, stands over her, his chest heaving. His voice cuts through the stillness, low and desperate. "Will you come with me?" The world seems to hold its breath. The camera lingers on Claire's face, torn between fear of the unknown and the spark of hope that still burns within her. The screen flickers black, leaving the audience suspended in uncertainty. Then a single line appears in bold letters. Outlander Season 8. Destiny reunites, but love is never safe. The final sound is a single heartbeat, then silence. The screen is drenched in shadows. A storm rages overhead, lightning tearing across the sky. The music swells into a violent mix of drums and strings, each beat echoing like a war cry. The camera cuts in quick flashes. Henry swinging his blade against a wall of soldiers, Claire clutching a wounded child to her chest, Jamie's silhouette in the distance, blurred by smoke and fire. Each image flickers like memories breaking apart, fragments of a story colliding all at once. The narrator's voice rises, deep and haunting. Time binds them, war divides them, love demands everything. The screen slows to a single, breathless moment. Claire stands before Henry, her face pale in the firelight. Her eyes are torn between fear and longing, her lips trembling as if carrying words too heavy to speak. Henry steps closer, his voice raw, trembling. "If you stay, you risk everything. If you come with me, you risk even more." The music cuts out. Silence. Only the crackle of fire remains. Claire looks at him, her hands shaking, her soul split in two. Then Henry whispers the words that will define their fate. "Will you trust me?" The screen fractures into chaos again. Flashes of battlefields burning, doors slamming shut, faces screaming in rage and despair. A clock spins backward, its hands breaking apart, shards of time scattering across the screen. Claire's voice echoes through it all. "Nothing is ever simple. Not in this life. Not in any." The storm reaches its peak. Flames consume the frame, only to be snuffed out by a sudden, crushing darkness. A single heartbeat echoes. Then across the screen in bold, fractured letters. Outlander, Season 8. Every choice changes everything. The trailer ends not with triumph, but with a warning. The faint sound of a woman's scream echoing through the dark, cut off before it reaches its end. The screen fades to black. The screen is silent. Smoke drifts across the battlefield like ghosts refusing to rest. The music is gone, replaced only by the faint crackle of dying flames and the steady patter of rain on broken earth. Henry stands alone, sword lowered, his face streaked with blood and mud. Beside him, Claire clutches his arm, her breath uneven, her eyes wide with something more than fear. Recognition. She has seen this moment before. The camera closes in on her trembling hands. Her voice cracks as she whispers, "This was never about finding me. It's about what comes after." The music stirs again, low and haunting, like a distant drum echoing across time. Quick flashes tear across the screen. A clock's glass shattering, Jamie's shadow pulling away into the mist, Henry collapsing to his knees with chains at his wrists. The images are fast, disjointed, like glimpses of a future not yet written. The narrator's voice, now almost thunderous, fills the silence. Every choice bends the path of history, but some choices break it. The screen reveals a stone circle glowing faintly under a stormy sky. Claire stands at its edge, her face torn with anguish. Behind her, Henry reaches out, his voice desperate. "If you cross, everything changes." The sound of rushing wind rises, carrying whispers, fragments of voices past and future, tangled together in chaos. Suddenly the vision shatters. Claire wakes in darkness, her body shaking, her face paled. Was it a dream? A warning? Or a truth waiting to unfold? She looks at Henry, her eyes filled with fear and determination. Her voice is steady now, sharper than before. This is bigger than us, bigger than love. If we fail, the world changes forever. The music swells to a chilling climax. Not triumphant, but heavy, as if destiny itself is watching. The screen flickers with final flashes. Swords raised against fire. A child's hand clutching Claire's. Henry standing at the gates of time. Jamie's voice echoing her name. Then silence. A final line appears, cold and unyielding. Outlander, Season 8. Some endings are written in blood, others in time. The screen fades into darkness. A single bell tolls. Then nothing. The screen is pitch black. For a moment there is no music, no sound, only silence. Then, slowly, a faint rhythm begins. A single heartbeat, deep and steady. With each beat, the screen flashes with fragments of destiny. Claire's tear-stained face, Henry reaching out across a storm, Jamie's silhouette fading into the mist. The narrator's voice returns one final time, solemn and heavy. Every story ends with a choice: love or survival, truth or silence, past or future. The screen glows with firelight. Claire stands at the center of the ancient stone circle, her hands trembling, her face torn between fear and longing. Henry kneels before her, battered and bloodied, his voice breaking as he pleads, "If you walk through, you may never return. But if you stay, they will come for you." The wind howls. Lightning tears the sky. Time itself seems to scream. Claire's eyes close as memories flood her. Jamie's arms around her, the warmth of her family, the laughter that once filled her heart. Then, just as quickly, images of war, betrayal, and endless loss. Her body shakes, her breath sharp, as if the weight of two worlds is crushing her chest. The music swells, faster, louder, until it feels unbearable. Claire opens her eyes, tears glistening. She steps forward, Henry's voice desperate. "Claire, choose!" The screen cuts to black at the exact moment her foot touches the stone. Silence swallows the world. The heartbeat stops. A single line fades onto the screen, glowing like fire. Outlander, Season 8. One step decides it all. The trailer ends with a whisper. Claire's voice almost too soft to hear. "Jamie," and then nothing.